Live from Panama City Beach in Great Sunshine, Florida. It's the semifinal for the 2019 NHSA National Championship, a Division II semi between the Freedom Cowboys and the PAC Panthers. Proud here on 8-Man Extreme. Spencer Thompson and James Shannon bringing you the call here. It's going to be a fantastic day for football. The Freedom Cowboys won the toss and elected to kick, and it heads back to the end zone to start off this semifinal in Division II. Of course, Freedom Cowboys taking the loss earlier on to the Ezel Harding Eagles on Saturday and getting into Division II. But, James, we've seen how the Freedom Cowboys have been against Tennessee teams throughout the year. They're now 5-2 on the season, but they came here to play, and they're fighting for a chance to be in the Division II National Championship.
Yeah, and a tough loss on Saturday to Ezel Harding. But you know what? These boys have come in jacked up. And obviously the winner of this game moves on to the 1 o'clock Division II championship game. So that's something these boys are really looking forward to.
So Charles Taylor is the quarterback for the PAC Panthers. Hands it to the right to Cole Irie. Gets a gain of about a yard for 2nd and 9.
Carry by Irie. Back to the original line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
Cole Irie, the senior, one of the several seniors for the PAC Panthers, and now it's 2nd down and 9. PAC Panthers on the year, overall 11-2, 11-1 before coming into this afternoon's contest at fake rush. There's to the right. It's Grant Glayton, the sophomore. Maybe a yard gain, but 3rd down.
To the 22-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 8.
And again, for this first game, it's 2 15-minute halves. Again, for this game, it's 2 15-minute halves with the semi, of course, because of 2 teams playing games. And leave just a running clock. They likely was stopping for injury or a timeout, but still a good chance for either of these teams to get to the Division II championship. They wait Southern Prep. Taylor gets a deep toss up the middle, almost a chance for an interception by Dominic Zena, and incomplete.
Pass is incomplete, intended for Duke. That'll bring up 4th down and 8.
Cameron Duke, the intended receiver on there, the junior. Now faces a 4th down and 7.
Yeah, a tough break for the Panthers coming into today, not having their starting quarterback. Actually, they didn't have their starting quarterback on Saturday either, so tough situation for them, but they're trying to make the best of it.
And a punt away, they go 4 and out. That's Irie put it away. Back to receive is Dominic Zena, but goes out of bounds spotted at the 27-yard line, so a low, high up punt to the right. Great field positioning to start off for the Freedom Cowboys. And the story for the Freedom Cowboys throughout the season, of course, have been guys like Jeremiah Seuss, who have put the Cowboys in great position to get to a scoring chance, and on the 27-yard line can do some damage quite early on.
Yeah, they have a big-time running attack, and, we haven't seen, of course, with Southern Prep, they took on Evangel the other day, which is a passing team, and they really took it to them. So let's see what this running attack does to them.
And there's a rush up the middle. That's Trent Plank going to about the 20-yard line for a gain of 7 yards.
Carry by Plank to the 20-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 3, Cowboys. Yeah, and a good hard run there by Plank, just bulldozing his way down there. Actually, they're gonna mark it shy of the 20, so they'll go 2nd down and 5. Correction, 2nd and 5, Cowboys.
David Kinney, the starting quarterback for the Cowboys. He's been with them all season. Hands off to Jeremiah Seuss. He's dangerous when he controls the ball. Looks like they'll move the chains for a 1st down. inside the red zone for the Freedom Cowboys. They've had incredible success when inside the 20.
All spotted at the 28-yard line. Cowboys fans, it's 3rd and 1. Make some noise.
Just short of the first down for a 3rd down and 1. It's Kinney with the handoff. Gets tripped up in the backfield. Marshall Wellborn just can't get through that defensive line.
Blank with the carry. Back to the
May have gotten
line
the
of scrimmage. It's now 4th
looks
down.
like he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a half yard for 4th down. Of course, we've seen that trend throughout 8-man football throughout the year on a fourth and less than 5 yards, especially inside the red zone. They're going to go for it here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no holds barred right now. You're playing for a shot at a national champ. Even if it is a D2, it's a national championship. You lay it all out on the line right now.
Kinney is going to take the quarterback keep up the middle. That'll move the chains for a 1st down, down to about the 15-yard line.
Kinney with the keeper. That's enough to move the chains and give the Cowboys a 1st down.
$15 yards from getting their first score of this 30-minute game. Handoff right side to Jaden Hermina. Hermina, dangerous, trying to push the pile, gets to the end zone, touchdown.
Touchdown, Cowboys! Number 23, Jaden Hermina with 6.
Gives 6 to the Freedom Cowboys and a 2-point conversion attempt coming up. Freedom, one of the many 8-man teams that does not go for the extra point attempt. Kinney tosses it, incomplete. Looked like it was intended for Tucker, but the defense got to him. 10:28 in the first half left in this semifinal for the NHSA tournament. Freedom Cowboys strike first, 6-0.
Panthers nothing.
Lewis Carroll set to kick off for Freedom Cowboys, striking first. And see how the PAC Panthers can respond to that first score, especially going 4 and out. And back towards the end zone.
Kickoff into the end zone for a
Touchback, and we'll see
That'll be a first
PAC
and
Panthers
10,
offense.
PAC Panthers.
See what they can do on their second offensive drive of the game.
Yeah, and that was textbook Cowboys offense right there. Just ground and pound, do what they got to do. You saw Hermina on the backside of that drive score the touchdown. He's been their workhorse all year. He has been there and gotten it done, and that's what they needed, and that's what they got. They have a dependable group of guys right now trying to take that D2 championship home.
It starts out from the 20-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Had a little bit of an opening for Cameron Duke. Only results in a gain of about 2 yards. Make that 3 for 2nd and 7. For several seniors graduating for the PAC Panthers this year, so chance for potentially their last game of the season. Hoping that it's just their second to last to play for the D2 championship afterwards against the Fighting Rangers. Rush up the middle. There goes Charles Taylor, quarterback keep. And they'll move the chains for a first down.
Carry by Taylor down to the 30-yard line. That's a PAC Panthers first down. And just a big, hard-nosed run there by the quarterback, not playing quarterback all year, but stepping into that role like we discussed during the first drive, doing what he has to do. That was a big, big run to move those chains. They have to stay ahead of the chains.
10 yards gained thus far in this drive. And another handoff. Tries to find the opening. Cameron Duke, gain of 7 yards for a 2nd and 3. And the PAC Panthers just marching downfield.
PAC Panthers, correction, 37-yard line. That's still 2nd down for the PAC Panthers.
Cameron Duke, one of many juniors on the roster for the PAC Panthers, trying to give his seniors a chance at a Division II national championship. There's a right side rush. Cole Irie gets through for the first down and a little bit more, down to about the 44-yard line. Finds the opening on the outside to move the chains again, and the PAC Panthers just keep marching down.
For a PAC Panthers first down. That was another good run. Just bounce it to the outside, and Irie absolutely dominating on that run. They're doing a good job against Freedom. You cannot run the ball up the. It's a tough to run the ball up the middle on Freedom. Stay to the outside; they'll be just fine.
And that defensive line for the Freedom Cowboys brings down a sack. Tristan Martone gets credited. Tough play for Charles Taylor to try and overcome there, but that defensive line just wove right through for the loss of 11.
And that was big from Martone coming off the edge right there. Taylor never had a chance, absolutely dropped him. And a great job by this Cowboys defense to put pressure on PAC right there. That's definitely going to be in the back of the quarterback's head every time he drops back to pass now, is those defensive ends and defensive tackles crashing down and beating that offensive line. He's got to regain trust in that offensive line.
2nd and 11, and a timeout called by the Panthers. First timeout of the game. About 7:26 left to go. 7:26 left to go in the first half of this Division II semifinal, as Grant Gleaton gets to the right side for a gain of 1. And still that loss of 11 yards. So it's now a 3rd down and 10. Of course, the winner moves on to face off against the Fighting Rangers. Loser will take the long trek home. Of course, for both of these teams, is a longer travel home for the Panthers and a little bit of a drive for the Freedom Cowboys to get back to Huntsville, but both of these teams more focused on getting to that Division II championship.
Well, it's still a great situation for these young men to be able to come down to this place like Panama City Beach to end their season. Even if you take losses, overall you have to count it as a win.
How about Charles Taylor to get past it, stay on his feet, make something of nothing with the defense pressuring him. Got a gain of about 3-4 yards on the play, not enough to get the first down there. Charles Taylor just having that awareness as a junior to prevent a bigger loss on the play and not as deep of a punt.
Well, and that was a hard run there. And the young man, again, he's doing what he has to do for his team, but I see them punting in this situation. 4th and 15 in your own end of the field. Put the ball deep. Make Freedom not have great starting field position like they did on that first drive, and then turn it over to your defense. Give your defense some room to work. Don't pin them up in the red zone practically. Give them some space to work with, and let's see what they do against this Freedom team that primarily runs the football.
It's now facing about a 4th down and 16, and looks like we probably have a timeout called by. It's a delay of game on the offense. Move it back 5 more yards. So if they didn't have enough.
5-yard penalty remains 4th down.
Looks like they didn't have enough to. As if they didn't have enough reason already to punt it away, they'll punt it here. It's booted away by Irie, and receiving it is Landon. That was, Dominic Zena.
Returned by Zena on the play.
Maybe got negative yardage on that return, stopped immediately, but still decent field advantage for the Freedom Cowboys to start out. Not as great as they had last time, obviously, but you're closer to midfield as the Freedom Cowboys. It's dangerous.
Well, and again, not a decent punt. Better than the first punt. A decent punt. And, they got lucky that Zena wasn't able to return it more so than he was. But, Freedom now has a chance with only 5:17 left here in the first half, shortened halves. They could run out the clock, try to punch the ball in again, and they get the second half kickoff.
So rush up the middle by Jaden Hermina, getting to the outside. Jaden Hermina staying on his feet, finally brought down by Landon Gay at about the 40-yard line.
Carry by Hermina to the 40-yard line. That's a 1st down, Freedom Cowboys.
Jaden Hermina has been a star player for the Freedom Cowboys in the several games we've seen, especially against Tennessee teams. But for Jaden Hermina, that's just doing normally what he does.
Well, and he's so quick when he bounces to the outside. He's got speed that if he can find that edge, he's gone. And a good job by the Panthers to stop him, but a huge 20-yard gain on that play, just showing that speed. And you gotta hate the fact, though, he got slung down in the mud here on the sidelines.
1st and 10 in Panthers territory. Here goes Hermina again. Not as much of a gain for 4 yards up the middle. Freedom just pushing right along and running the clock down for this first half.
Well, and you saw on that run right there, just a great job of reading his offensive line. His offensive line made their blocks initially, and a great job of him by reading the line, finding that hole, and he just almost slipped to the next level, but a great job by the Panthers closing in on him.
2nd and 6. Hermina again finds the opening up the middle, staying on his feet, gets the 1st down and more just outside of the red zone at the 23-yard line.
Carry by Hermina to the 20-yard line. Correction, 22-yard line. That's enough for a Cowboys 1st down. And you saw that carry there by Hermina. Again, just a steady dose for the Panthers. Cowboys know what they have to do. Ride the workhorse that got them here. And a great job on the backside of the play by Taylor. Little shoulder tackle there. That's better than some WWE shoulder tackles I've seen.
So getting inside of the red zone, they're just feeding Jaden Hermina, constantly giving him the ball. It's worked thus far to push him down the field, a gain of 5 yards for 2nd and 5.
Yeah, again, they need a steady dose of Hermina. That's what the doctor prescribed, and that's what they're going with.
2nd and 5 inside the red zone. Up the middle. Quarterback keep by David. Kinney weaves through. Touchdown for the Freedom Cowboys.
Keeper by Kinney for 6. That's a touchdown, Freedom Cowboys. And Kinney, perfect execution on that play. Of course, running Hermina 4-5 plays in a row. That defense was so zoned into number 23, they didn't even think about the quarterback. Kinney, RPO, slips out the right side, makes one man miss, and he is gone to the end zone. No questions asked, and the Cowboys pull away with a 2-score lead here with 2:45 left in the first half.
12-0 score. The Cowboys missed their first 2-point conversion attempt. Looking to go 1 for 2. And Hermina up the middle gets it. 2-point conversion is good. 14-0. The Freedom Cowboys lead the PAC Panthers. .245 left to go in the first, as Freedom has a 12-0 lead already in this Division II semi, and instead of going back deep, it bounces to about the 7. So we will have a return from Lewis Carroll, the senior. There's a lot of laundry on the field for flags, but Lewis Carroll gets to about the 22-yard line, pending a flag on the field. See if we can get the call. Some discussion going on with the officials trying to determine what it is. So, chop block called on the return team. They move it back. Looks like it's going to be to the 14-yard line.
First down, Panthers.
Down to about the 10-yard line.
And you hate to see that with a return like that by Taylor, the young man laying it out. Freedom, couple touchbacks, but they actually had the ball get some backspin, so it stayed inbounds, and Taylor able to return a great return, but a couple mistakes by his blockers, and it cost the Panthers. They'll start deep in their own territory.
See if the Panthers could get a score here. Pass intended and incomplete for Cameron Duke. Pass on the right side, and it looked like there was a little bit of miscommunication on the route, and that leads to a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it was a little comeback, a little hitch route, and the timing was off just a hair. Quarterback has to let that ball go at a certain moment and just trust that the receiver turns around and has it. And the receiver has to know the timing, too, in terms of steps, and he just didn't have that timing down on that play. Soars over his head. Just a little miscommunication. It's not a huge deal. That can be easily fixed, but it has to be fixed quick because they need to get some kind of offense going down 14-0.
There's a penalty called on the Panthers that got declined, and still a 2nd and 10.
Flag on the play. Penalty is declined. 2nd down, Panthers. I didn't see the motion.
Second and 10. Scramble by Taylor, gets the pass off to Grant Gleaton, and clock continues to run down to past the 20-yard line and moving the chains for the Panthers.
And it's enough for a PAC Panthers first down. And a great job there by Taylor, improvising, running, scrambling, and he had to throw the ball cross body, but put it right on Gleaton. Gleaton, great job grabbing it, trying to turn the corner. And you know, one of the big mistakes that these players make is trying to turn the corner before you secure the football. He made sure he had the football and turned the corner, and even though it costed him maybe picking up extra yardage, they still didn't give up an incompletion or a fumble.
They gave up an incompletion there, intended for Grant Gleaton again, and
Pass intended for Gleaton is incomplete.
1:38 left to go. First half's about to be over. Again, 2 15-minute halves for this semifinal. I believe it'll be the same situation for the Division II championship after this, between the Fighting Rangers and the winner of this game between the Panthers and Cowboys. It's a quarterback keep. Charles Taylor staying on his feet, avoiding the man. He's got several blocks. Charles Taylor from behind the tackle made by Ethan Walbaum, but a fantastic run by Charles Taylor, the junior. And the PAC Panthers are in business.
PAC Panthers first down. And I mean, okay, when we got here, PAC was on a bus. You could have driven a bus through that hole that the offensive line made. Taylor had just nothing but daylight. Busted through, hit the edge, and he was down the sidelines. Great job by the Cowboys finally catching up and stopping him. But a big, big gain for the Panthers. That was the jump start that they needed. Only 1:27 left in this first half, and the Cowboys get that second half kickoff.
Panthers and flags fly, likely a false start. And move it back 5 yards.
False start. Panthers, 5-yard penalty. That'll bring up a first down and 15. So excited from that run by Taylor. Offense just a little jittery, and they had to get going, but just jumped just a hair too soon. Takes 5 yards off that massive run that they had, but still the energy's there. You just have to calm down, realize, hey, listen, the second half is 15 minutes. We got a $1:27 here. There's plenty of time to score 2 touchdowns. The last thing they need to do is give the Cowboys a chance to go up by 3 scores.
Play clock down to 2 on that, and a toss-off. Catch is almost made by Gleaton. Can't get it in.
Pass intended for Gleaton. After an incredible effort, still incomplete. That'll bring up a second down and 15.
So 124 is now 2nd and 14.
Boy, that was close. That was an incredible effort by the young man, the sophomore rather. He's a sophomore, laying it out there at just the concentration the whole way to try to get it, and just lost track of it right at the end. But a great job by the young man with the focus to try to bring that ball in off of a not ideal pass.
Minute 24 for the Panthers to get a touchdown here, and it's a quarterback keep again by Taylor. It's dangerous when he holds on to the ball. Tries to stiff arm Ethan Walbaum, but nothing doing. Called for forward progress at the 39-yard line as a timeout is called with 1:13 left. Panthers get their second timeout of the first half.
Timeout, PAC Panthers.
$1:13 left to go in the first. Panthers looking for something. It's a toss play by Caleb Ashworth across the middle, and it's intercepted by Dominic Zana.
It's intercepted by number 2, Zana. Correction, it is an incomplete pass.
Looked like it was intercepted by Zana there, but ruled incomplete. Lucky break for the Panthers. It was almost an interception there.
Well, the young man just almost came down with it. Great read by that defense. Great play design by the Panthers, too. They had the Freedom Cowboys defensive line and linebackers pretty much sucked in. Zana had to come from the far side of the field to make that play on Gleaton and almost came down with it, just barely, just couldn't hang on to it. But again, Gleaton is a primary target. Great job by him.
And PAC Panthers use their final timeout. 104 left to
Timeout,
go.
Panthers. That is their final timeout.
.104 left to go in this first half. Panthers on a 4th and 13. Taylor with the toss to the right. It's officially intercepted. Dominic Zana on the pick, and he's got several blockers. Got 2 men to beat. Tries to get past the one, gets tackled from behind. There is a flag down, but Dominic Zana with the interception.
By number 2, Dominic Zana returned to the 41-yard line, but there is a flag on the play. and a great job by Zayner reading the offense. He finally gets his interception, brings it up, and I think we're going to see some kind of a blindside hit possibly here at the 50. I don't know that we have the replay, but
yeah, it was just playing.
On the return, had a little a blindside. It really wasn't a block because it was by the team that had the interception. Just a mental mistake, a frustration mistake, but something that can be fixed.
Officials conferring just to make sure they got the right call here. 48 seconds left, and it's a personal foul ruled on the. It's originally ruled on the original offense, the Panthers.
Personal foul on the Panthers. That'll move the ball down to the 26-yard line and bring up a first down for the Cowboys.
And now 48 seconds left in this first half.
That's a big hurt. That's a big miscue for the Panthers there. They did not need to give that up. The Cowboys now have a chance to really put their foot to the pedal and increase this lead.
So another rush up the middle. Gain of maybe a yard was Jaden Hermina on the rush, and another timeout call by Freedom. They're looking to get another score here. About 41 seconds left to go in this first half.
Well, and again, another dose of Hermina up the middle there. But, the Cowboys got to stop this clock. Yeah, they can go up by 3 here. And then, like I said, they get the ball after halftime, go up by 4, and they're locked into that second game to play for Division II championship against the Fighting Rangers.
Again, thanks to all of you watching this semifinal for Division II of the NHSA Tournament 2019 live here in Panama City Beach, Florida. Spencer Thompson and Isaiah
what?
Austin. Almost called you Isaiah. James
How
Shannon.
dare you call me Isaiah?
I miss my broadcast partner.
Oh, I don't blame you there, buddy. Shout out to all 24 of you watching. Whether you are from Alabama, Huntsville area, cheering on your Cowboys, or whether you're from Columbia, South Carolina, cheering on your Panthers, welcome in. Check out the rest of our YouTube channel. Check out our social media. Have a lot of fun doing what we do, and it's all for these players that are on the field right now.
Here's a second down. Deep toss across the middle, overthrew his target. That was Tanner Kaufman, the intended receiver, overthrown, and that brings up a 3rd down and 10.
Pass intended for Kaufman is incomplete.
Cowboys taking shots for the end zone here. Now on the 27-yard line, they're looking to already get a score.
Yeah, and just, they don't throw a whole lot of passes. And, so Kenny doesn't have a whole, it's not like he's thrown 30, 40 passes to Kaufman in that situation there. You got a flag on the play as well.
Bring it back for holding on the offense for 10 yards.
Flag on the play, holding called on the Cowboys. That'll move it back 10 yards to the 36-yard line. Remains 2nd down.
Let's now make that a 2nd and 20. Scramble, quick toss. Catch is made by Jaden Hermina. Gets back to the original first down indicator for 3rd and 10 as a timeout is called. Now 21 seconds left. And if you keep feeding Jaden Hermina, he's going to produce for you. Already 10 yards.
Well, and a great job by Kenny there reading the defense and, not having that pass get batted or intercepted, just floating it right past him to Hermina. Hermina doing what he does best, and putting the Cowboys almost back to the original line of scrimmage. So with 21 seconds left, and I believe they still have a timeout, plenty of chances here. I mean, you can do so many things, especially with the yardage they're at. If they were inside the 20, I think their options would be a little more limited. But here, just inside the 30, you can go with a longer pass. You can do some kind of a trick play like PAC tried to pull. Or, like I said, your options are limitless as to what you can try right here.
Just 20 seconds left in this first half. As the Cowboys are trying to pop one more touchdown in and do more damage than they already have in this first half. Freedom hoping that they have a date right after this matchup with the Fighting Rangers for the Division II championship. The PAC trying to stand in their way. Scramble, left side, the catch is made by Trent Plank. Left side, he's got one man to beat, Trent Plank. Great tackle by Charles Taylor, but it's still a first down and 10 for the Freedom Cowboys inside the 15.
14-yard line, but it doesn't matter. It's enough to move the chains for the Freedom Cowboys and give them a first down. Timeout, Cowboys.
And after the timeout, smartly called by the Cowboys at 1st and 10. Several shots towards the end zone are going to happen here.
Well, NC teams have scouted Freedom in their tight formation. So when Freedom spreads out to a 2x2, teams have to figure out how to adjust, figure out, well, who's their quick guy? Where did they put their quick guy? It's something that teams have to figure out on the fly. And in situations like that, you open yourself up to where Plank was wide open, and all he had to do was grab it and take off. Great tackle on the backside of the play. And with 12 seconds, we'll say, left, your options are a little more limited now. I mean, they literally just went down with 10 seconds of gameplay and using your last timeout. Do they have that at the store?
11 seconds, about 11.9 to go in the first half. On a 1st and 10, the 15-yard line scrambles, takes down to 5 seconds. Quarterback keep. David Kinney pushing through. They don't have a timeout. Runs down the final seconds. They do stop the clock for the spot, but it's only 1 second left on the clock, so they got to quickly snap and spike it here. Did they get it off in time? They're ruling 1 second left on the game clock, so great time management by the Cowboys. Maybe I believe they'll do one untimed down.
Second down.
Incredible move by the Cowboys.
Run one more play before the end of the half.
Almost to several fractions of a second. Great time management by the Cowboys. And Freedom's fan base getting fired up as Hermina tries to go towards the end zone just short. They tried to get a score there and unfortunately couldn't pop it in. But that's the end of the first half in this NHSA Division II semifinal. 14 for the Freedom Cowboys, and the PAC Panthers have not gotten on the board yet. Got about 18 minutes for halftime. We'll see you at the end of that. 18 minutes. Start of the second half between the Freedom Cowboys, and an attempted onside kick is immediately caught by C.J. Erskine and got down to about the 47-yard line. The Panthers tried a little bit of an onside kick or squib kick, and Freedom Cowboys not having any of that. Spencer Thompson and James Shannon on call here from Panama City Beach for the 2019 NHSA National 8-Man Football Tournament.
And, of course, the way that these first two games are going, a little bit shorter so we can get them in, give these teams an opportunity to play a game, but we can get to the big collision, the immovable object versus the irresistible force. Ezel Harding Christian and Evangel Christian.
Conference champions in Tennessee and Alabama for 8-man football in MTAC and ASCS colliding for that championship. How about that rush up the middle? It was a good gain by Hermina and loss of a yard on the play. Managed to get through, and that defense just stuffing the Freedom Cowboys. It's now make that a 2nd down and 11. It's the Freedom Cowboys just trying to put this game away. Here's up the middle. Hermina up the middle, weaving through, had several blockers down to about the 38-yard line. And just Hermina doing again what he is very skilled at, and that's running through the outside, inside, anywhere. Just you give the ball to Hermina, he's dangerous.
And again, you saw in that first play they give the ball to him. It didn't quite work out, but right here the speed is just – he comes right back and gashes this Panthers defense. They couldn't score right before the half. It didn't work out, but they're going to they're going to take a crack at it here, first drive of the second half.
Pitch in the backfield. Hermina again. He's got an opening on the outside. One man to beat. Staying on his feet, finally brought down. There's a flag down. Probably something along the lines of a horse collar. So probably brought down for a horse collar, and we'll get the penalty call.
Which input do you plug into? I'm on one right now. The game would have to be somewhere on the back side of it. Master volume's over there. Turn the mic down and turn the master volume up. Of course, the master volume's all the way up already. Go ahead. We'll try that. Let this back off a little bit. That was carried by Hermina, right? Carried by Hermina, but a flag on the play.
Just waiting for the call, and personal foul, horse collar called on the Panthers, so tack on 15 more yards.
Horse collar called on the Panthers. Got to move the ball down to the 13-yard line, and it's enough for a Cowboys first down. And a big miscue there by the Panthers. Hermina, another huge run, and a 15-yard penalty right there cost the Panthers some field position. Cowboys with a chance to strike.
Inside the red zone, there's a rush up the middle, and the ball is loose. It was originally carried by Daniel Wright, lost the football. Cowboys are saying they retained it, and looks like Daniel Wright comes out with it. Fortunate enough to make sure that Cowboys kept it in possession, and a gain, instead of a fumble and a turnover on downs, it's now on the looks like the 10-yard line for a 2nd and 6.
Almost a mistake there by the Cowboys. A big mistake that would have really helped PAC. But instead, they were able to fix that mistake real quick and keep the ball and continue to make an effort to get down in the scoring range.
2nd and 6. Pitch again to Hermina. Right side, he's got one man to beat, gets tripped up on his feet short of the goal line. It'll be a 1st and goal on about the 1-yard line.
1-yard line. That'll bring up a 1st and goal, Cowboys.
And now make that a 1st down for Freedom and a chance to go up by 20 points.
Well, and that would be a huge momentum buster for the Panthers. But Hermina's their workhorse. They've used him to get here. And speaking of workhorses, there you go, Spence.
Touchdown.
Oh, the ball came out. Spence.
Ball loose. It's ruled a touchdown. We'll get the replay on that.
Touchdown, Cowboys. Ball is carried by Kenny for 6.
We'll see if we could piece anything together because there's no zoom there. But, yeah, you can't really tell from that zoomed angle there, but it's a touchdown for the Freedom Cowboys.
And a big carry there. Of course, they used Hermina all year, and they used Hermina on this drive. But Kenny with a little quarterback sneak, and they punch it in and just widen the gap with 12 minutes left here in the second half.
Two-point conversion attempt. We're 1 for 2. And reversal to Zena. Look at, he's going to try to pass it left side. What an athletic and amazing play by the Cowboys.
Pass is complete from Zena to Hermina. Two-point conversion is good. Your score, Freedom Cowboys 22, Panthers 0.
To make something of nothing on that is absolutely incredible.
Well, and there's no way that was designed, but now Zena is down on the field after taking a lick, and you hate to see that for this young man that already has an interception and has had a great game.
Zena down after that play, managed to get the two-point conversion for the Cowboys, and we'll be back after the injury timeout. 22-0, Freedom over the PAC Panthers. Good news, of course, Dominic Zena managed to get up on his own feet to the sideline. He's down on one knee. Training staff looking at him just a little bit, but important thing is he managed to get up. 22-0, Freedom leads over the PAC Panthers. Chance for them to play for the Division II championship right after this one against the Fighting Rangers.
There's 3 games that he's having to do. I'm actually doing color on the broadcast and PA.
And catch made by the Panthers. That is 38 Davidson Jones, the sophomore, weaving through. Loses the football, and the Panthers get right back on it. Great awareness by Landon Gay to make sure that the ball was kept in their possession. And back at the 35-yard line.
Spotted at the 38-yard line. That'll be a first down for the PAC Panthers.
Davidson Jones on the return lost the football. Gay had the fumble recovery.
I didn't see Jones, so that's why I just called Gay.
First and 10 on the 37-yard line. Deep toss right by Taylor, and O'Hara almost gets the interception. The ball was loose there. Zana could have gotten the pick, rolled off of his back. It could have been a great catch by Grant Gleaton, incomplete.
It'll be second down and 10, Panthers.
It's those kind of plays it's really hard to have football awareness of where it's scrambling to.
Well, and you saw, obviously we've talked about Taylor not being the full-time starting quarterback this season, still working on his throwing. I think the Duck Dynasty guys might have showed up if they'd seen that pass, but a great effort on the backside by Gleaton to try to snag it. And Zana, great to see him back on the field with the coverage.
It's a pitch to Davidson Jones on the left, tripped up in the backfield by that Freedom defense. Looks like Joshua Butler managed to get an assist on the tackle there. And third down and 13.
To the 35-yard line. Panthers fans, make some noise. It's third down. Good carry there. Good hard carry there by the Panthers, trying to make up some lost yardage. And they have a chance right here. Looks like they might throw it out of a 2-by-1 formation.
Deep toss on the right, intended for Gleaton, and overthrew his target, incomplete.
Pass from Taylor, intended for Gleaton.
Gleaton the target there. Great coverage by Dominic Zana. Even with the ball being overthrown, so 11 minutes left to go in the second half.
And a beautiful pass there by Taylor. A lot better than that first one, but just overthrew his man. And Gleaton had a little bit of leverage, but Zana got in front of him, kind of slowed the route down. Not pass interference, but slowed the route down, and Gleaton couldn't get to the ball.
And timeout called by the PAC Panthers, just trying to regroup and go back over the game plan. 11 minutes left in the second. Freedom Cowboys just 11 away from going to the Division II championship. Scramble right side by, looks like the new quarterback in for the Panthers is Clay Yeomans, the sophomore. And an incomplete pass there to shave off 7 seconds. Shaves off 7 and a turnover on downs for the Freedom Cowboys.
And a first down, Freedom Cowboys. They're in the NHSA.
First and 10 for the Freedom Cowboys on the 35-yard line. Freedom just trying to get another score on the board. First and 10. Hand off up the middle to Hermina. First down, pushing the pile to about the 20-yard line. And now in the red zone, maybe just outside of the 21. Again, you keep feeding Hermina like that, he's going to put you in great positions and give you a chance to score again.
Well, and we've seen his speed on display here in this game, but that was power. That was purely move the legs, get down the field, carry. You've heard about putting your team on your back. He put the opposing team on his back and carried them down enough for the first down and a little bit more.
Here's Hermina again. Pushes through the middle. 3 yards for 2nd and 7.
Carry by Hermina to the 17-yard line.
And time called.
Second down.
Time called, looks like by
Officials timeout.
Officials timeout, a injured PAC Panther on the ground. Another injury, clenching his left knee. We'll step aside for an injury timeout.
Colleges like scouting the defensive players because if you can cover this
10 minutes left to go with a 2nd and 7.
then they know that they can do it with extra players.
Right side scramble by Kinney. Kinney's just going to take the ball, get the first down, and a little bit more. First and goal on the 6-yard line. The Freedom Cowboys just pushing through. There was a flag down back at the left side in the backfield. Waiting for the call from the officials, so we might see something go against the Freedom Cowboys here. Officials just having a discussion. Looking to see if we get something called on the offense. And they've picked up the flag. It's good discussion by the officials to confer.
Waved off. It's now 1st and goal, Cowboys.
First and goal on the 7. Hermina again gets tripped up in the backfield. Clay Yaumans, the sophomore, managing to stop him. They've been feeding Hermina all day long.
Loss of 2. That'll bring up a 2nd and goal, Cowboys.
Feeding him all day long with those rushes on the outside and the middle, and it's plays like that are what are going to give the PAC Panthers at least some hope to make it back.
Well, and a great job reading that run. You know, there's times now be careful because after plays with loss of yardage or big stops that Hermina carries the ball, they go back to him and he gashes that Panthers defense. So if you're the Panthers, yeah, you just made a big defensive play, but you got to bring it here so that mistake doesn't happen again.
2nd and goal. Hermina up the middle, pushes through, spins, touchdown.
Carry by Hermina into the end zone. That's a touchdown, Cowboys.
Make that now 28-0 already. And it's plays like that are how the Freedom Cowboys are going to bring that momentum.
I literally called it before the play. It's like those plays where he has a loss or a big stop that really just gets under his skin and eats him alive and gives him an extra gear that he can hit to where he punches, you know, he'll either gash you for 20 yards or score a touchdown. He took option B there. That's big for the Cowboys. They have a chance to go up by 30 right now.
2-point conversion attempt, toss right side, incomplete. Now about 8:45 left to go.
2-point conversion attempt is no good.
8:45. It's a 28-0 game for the Freedom Cowboys. About 8:45 left from going to the D2 championship. 8:45 left to go in the second as the Freedom Cowboys set to kick off again. And booted deep, picked up by Davidson Jones. Right side being chased down. Tackle can't be made by Trent Plank, trying to weave through these guys down to about the 26-yard line. And see if the PAC Panthers can get a score here. They go to a long uphill battle to climb if they want to make it back in this semifinal. One of the more tough challenges to overcome. But, of course, the PAC Panthers had a decent run here for the championship.
And a great return there by Jones on the play. Just, weaving in and out, made a couple men miss, and then, able to get down close to, well, they're going to spot at the 37. But, put his team with decent field position now. The clock is against them now with 8.5 minutes. Only 2 timeouts, I believe. I believe they've already burned one. So it's not a favorable situation, but nothing is impossible until the clock hits 0.
Attempted quarterback keep up the middle and back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of a yard for second down.
Carry by Taylor on the play to the 39-yard line, 38-yard line. That'll bring up a second down and 9, Panthers.
PAC Panthers out of South Carolina made the travel down here to Panama City. Of course, taking the loss from yesterday. Taking the loss on Saturday. And ball lost in the backfield by Davidson Jones and manages to pick it back up at the 25, a loss of about 10 plus. So now a third down for the PAC Panthers to overcome, about third and probably a quarter of the field.
Just a little bit of a miscue there on the pitch. That's a very tricky play for some teams to pull off. Again, like that comeback route earlier in the game, that's a timing play, and you have to have it just right. If you don't, there can be some bad things that happen. I think we're going to get a timeout here.
Timeout called by the PAC Panthers, 7:19 left in the second. $7:19 left to go after the PAC Panthers timeout. A toss right side, almost made the one-handed catch there. Grant Gleaton tried to get a piece of that, just nothing doing.
Incomplete. That will bring up a Panthers 4th down.
So now a 4th down and long, and it's basically one of the last stands for the PAC Panthers.
Well, and they've got to take a shot right here. Otherwise, especially with that running attack that they have, they're just going to grind, and I think the Panthers have 1 timeout left. So, essentially, Freedom could run the rest of this clock out because then they have to turn around and play another 30-minute game in terms of clock. So, a lot of pressure on them.
And the PAC Panthers opt to punt it away as it bounces all the way to the 7-yard line. And we'll see how the Freedom Cowboys respond to that, like the march down the field. Either that or they completely run down the game clock. Because of the Freedom Cowboys strategy, it is a rush-heavy offense, and it's a lot faster game than you would normally have.
Well, and I understand that, PAC wanted to put Freedom deep in their own, into the field. But this is actually the perfect situation for Freedom. with 7 minutes to run off the clock, they're just going to run the ball, and all they've got to do is just make sure you pick up first downs. Just make sure you keep that grind going, because essentially they're looking at about 8 first downs that they could pick up, and they have 4 plays to pick those up. Each play runs, takes about 25, 30 seconds to run. This ball game could be over with this drive right here. Even if the Cowboys don't score, they could still end it right here by just, slowly choking the life out of the Panthers.
Quarterback keep by David Kinney. Goes up the middle for a gain of a yard for 2nd and 9. As James mentioned, the clock winding down now.
That'll bring up a 2nd down, Cowboys.
That rush-heavy offense for the Freedom Cowboys is what's likely going to win them this game.
Yeah, and all they've got to do is stick with what got you here. Stick with Kinney. Stick with Hermina. Do what you know how to do. Don't try to go outside the box. Don't try to do something you're not used to. Stick with what you know, and that could potentially get you a trophy that you could take back to Alabama after you beat another team from Alabama, that's right down the road from you. They're in Huntsville, the Fighting Rangers coming out of near Auburn.
How about coming out of the backfield is Jaden Hermina with a big rush to about the 27-yard line, 28-yard line. But dug them out of that situation, but there is a flag.
7-yard line. Flag on the play.
Waiting for the call. And got a holding call back on the offense. It does run down a clock, and it's another play for – it's a holding call on the offense, and pull it back 10 yards. And that just runs out some time for the PAC Panthers.
Called on the play. Still 2nd down.
Now a 2nd down and 14. There's Hermina again, right side, just rushes through and continues to wind it down. Goes back to the original 1st down indicator and a little bit more.
To the 8-yard line.
So now 3rd down and 10.
That'll bring up a 3rd down, Cowboys. Well, and again, even with the holding call, that still eats up clock. It doesn't stop the clock. So they're just gonna keep it rolling. 3rd down here, they can eat up another 15 seconds if they're careful. One of the things that's awesome about this field is actually having the play clock on the scoreboard. So as the quarterback, get the call in, get your team set, and watch that play clock and let it wind down.
Right side rush to about the 9-yard line, or back to the line of scrimmage. So a 4th down and 10, and still running it down here for the Freedom Cowboys. And time called.
That'll bring up a 4th down and a timeout.
Time called with 4:52 left to go. Time called for an injury, and player down for the PAC Panthers. Will step aside. So Clay Humans is the injured PAC Panther. Managed to get up on his own feet over the sideline, and Cowboys punted away. Trent Plank with the punt. How about Brandon Connolly to rush down there and touch it at the 39-yard line? And 4:35 left for the Panthers to try and drive down and at least get a score, trying to prevent a full shutout.
Yeah, it's a disappointing situation when you make the trip. Of course, you play the game on Saturday and you lose. In a situation like this, you don't like to see it. Especially after having beaten a team like the Fighting Rangers, and then you go up against a tough Evangel team. You want to come out and have a good showing to close out the time that you've had here in Panama City Beach. But Freedom, just a suffocating offense.
Rush up the middle by Cameron Duke as they get a gain of 5 yards for 2nd and 5.
To the 30-yard line. That'll bring up a Panthers 2nd down.
Of course, the Panthers lost to the Fighting Rangers on Saturday. Freedom Cowboys lost to the Ezel Eagles on Saturday as well. Eagles playing for the national championship against the Lightning of Evangel.
Well, and honestly, PAC Panthers have nothing to be ashamed of. Winning their state championship. They only lost one game all year, and it was to the team they ended up beating in the state championship. So a very successful year for this homeschool program out of Columbia, South Carolina.
Won that state championship 19-14 for the SCIFA Division I. Deep toss intended for Gleaton. Almost makes the catch. It would have been a touchdown right between his hands.
Pass intended for Gleaton is incomplete.
And just a tough play made there, and 3:37 left. Could have been the first score of the game for the PAC Panthers.
Well, and a great job by Taylor adapting and improvising with the play. A bad situation where he dropped the ball, able to pick it up, and really got a great throw off. Gleaton got his hand on the ball in the end zone, but just not able to snag it. And it's just a killer. That's been the whole game for the Panthers. Gleaton, a great receiver, just not, just a hair off on everything today, and it's costed his team. But you know what? The young man's a sophomore. He's going to come back as a junior and be a force to be reckoned with.
Handoff up the middle for it's a fake to Lewis Carroll. Left side, rush by Charles Taylor. Gets past the first down marker. The clock continuing to run for the Panthers. And running down with about 3:20 left to go. So on a 1st and 10 on the 25. Again, the PAC Panthers, it was 19-14. They won in their state championship against Jefferson Davis Academy. Then taking the loss 26-6 against the Fighting Rangers on Saturday. First game they played in the NHSA tournament.
Yeah, and this program, I know it's very new. It's not it's not an established program, but it's on its way to being an established program. They have zero to be ashamed of, especially against a team like the Cowboys, who are really in the 8-man community a household name.
There goes Taylor, right side, and shoulder block. How about that big play by Grant Gleaton? There's a flag. Gleaton had the block there. It looked like it was shoulder to helmet on that. So Taylor with the carry. Look at the replay on that. It looks like Gleaton just had the shoulder to helmet. It was almost helmet to helmet contact on there. It's very close on that, and likely why they threw the flag for a helmet to helmet collision. See if we can get the call from the official. Officials discuss it. They picked up the flag.
Flag on the play has been waved off. That'll bring up a 2nd down for the Panthers. Well, and again, these officials, like you said, are doing a great job coming together, discussing the situation, discussing the potential infraction. And if they decide that, hey, you know what, there's not enough substantial evidence to uphold this, they just go ahead and wave it off. And that's really how officials should be, instead of making a bad call and sticking to it.
No penalty. It's a 2nd and 5 as Taylor airs it out on the left side. Gleaton tried to make the catch. Dominic Zana got a piece of it to prevent the catch. Brilliant play. This now leads to about a 3rd down and 6.
Incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 6 for the Panthers.
I know they don't give MVPs for semifinals, but if you do an MVP of the game, it's definitely Dominic Zana.
Well, and the young man with the interception on the day, several passes defense, went down with an injury, still came back and has made such an impact in this game. I mean, we've done seen some Freedom Cowboys games, did a Freedom Cowboys and seen some Freedom Cowboy games this year. I don't really remember hearing his name as much, but this young man has showed up in this tournament and done what he's needed to do for his team.
Charles Taylor, right side. The catch is made. It's to Caleb Ashworth, pulled out of bounds at about looks like the 8-yard line. And about 141. They
To Ashworth is complete.
move the chains for a 1st and goal. It's a 1st and goal on the 9-yard line, and the Panthers looking to prevent the shutout. They did get one touchdown against Southern Prep Academy on Saturday. About 1:20 and winding down. So the Panthers is trying to prevent the shutout. Here's toss to the left side, tipped last second, but the catch is still made by Grant Gleaton, trying to stop him and bobbles the ball a little bit on about the 5-yard line. 2nd down and goal.
Pass from Taylor complete to Gleaton.
Almost looked like, I believe it was Tristan Martone tapped the ball just a little bit to try and prevent the catch from being made. And now a timeout called by PAC Panthers with 56 seconds to go. Just trying to make sure everything is ready to go. 56 seconds left. .54 seconds left. PAC Panthers trying to get their first touchdown of the game. Incomplete. Pass intended for Caleb Ashworth. Incomplete. 50 seconds.
Now, if you want to stay the rest of the week, but do Thursday and Saturday.
I'd love to. I'd have to work out my work situation now. Take more time off. I know he's got to get back for college.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is this you come down
50 seconds left.
Stick around for the PA.
for the week? That's what I'm buying. Wait, I've got the setup.
I'll talk to the wife about it.
I got the
Talk
setup.
to the wife about it.
Man, I told you these guys are doing a great job.
They are, yeah.
3rd down on the 4-yard line. A rush up the middle. Cameron Duke trying to push through and nothing doing. That Freedom defense is just keeping him down. And a little bit of extra shoving there.
Carry on the play. He is stopped at the 2-yard line. That'll bring up a Panthers 4th down.
About
goal.
30 seconds left until this game is over.
Cowboys
About
fans,
one
your
more play
defense
for the
needs
PAC
to make some
Panthers to try.
noise. Nothing, really, nothing.
About 20 seconds left. PAC Panthers on a 4th and goal trying to get a score, and looked like a timeout called by the Freedom Cowboys with about 15.9 to go.
Cowboys trying to preserve the shutout.
No, we need to score.
still got that team in 11 man that always does for the.
"16 seconds left. Panthers trying to prevent a complete shutout. It was 26-6 on Saturday, and here they lose the football. It looks like it's going to be 28-0. As a turnover on downs, and referee signals to wind the clock, and that will do it. 28-0, the Freedom Cowboys are headed to the Division II championship against the Fighting Rangers in just a few moments.
Congratulations on a great season, Panther fans.
PAC Panthers will take the long drive home to South Carolina, and the Freedom Cowboys collide with the Fighting Rangers next for the Division II championship. Thanks again for tuning in to this semifinal game. We got the Division II championship coming up next on 8 Man Extreme.
Okay, let's